Hey, Mike with No Problems Gaming here. In today's video, we'll be doing a first impressions review on Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, so let's get into it. So this Final Fantasy game is actually a remake in a sorts of the original Final Fantasy game that came out on the NES. Now they've switched up the gameplay a bit from the original Final Fantasy game, so instead of being a turn-based RPG, the game has become more of an action RPG that has a similar feeling to games like Bloodborne or in the Dark Souls series. Now I think the game is a little bit less punishing than games like Dark Souls or Bloodborne, but it does have a similar feel to it, as I mentioned. There are various different difficulty settings to the game as well, and if you want more of a Dark Souls experience, you'll probably have to play on the highest difficulty setting there is. Now while the normal mode is certainly still challenging, it is a lot more forgiving than the Dark Souls series. For example, you might fall off a ledge or a path in the game, and instead of instantly dying, it just does a chunk of damage to your character. Or if you do happen to die while playing, it will revert you back to the latest save point, but it doesn't remove all the experience you've gained or anything like that. So it is a little bit easier in that sense. Again, like I said, if you play on the most challenging mode, it might be a little bit different. So far, I've played about 10 hours in the game, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Like I had mentioned, it follows the storyline of the original Final Fantasy, which actually happens to be my favorite game ever, so I've definitely been excited about that. There are some small aspects that are a little bit different in the game, but it does still follow the general plot line. The game is a lot more linear, I would say, in the sense that you go on different missions, which will unravel a bit of the storyline in each location. You do have the opportunity to talk to characters in town to learn a bit more information on what's going on, but that's kind of optional. You don't actually explore the town. You can just choose a talk option and then go through various different dialogues of citizens of the town you happen to be in. Again, same thing with the different missions. You'll have missions that you'll go through which replay various parts of the original storyline, so you get to learn that. And there's also side quests on these different locations once you beat them for the first time. And so again, the feel of the game is a lot like Dark Souls, where you'll go through various different dungeons, face off against waves of enemies, and there'll be various save points scattered throughout the dungeon, which will refill your character's health, restore potions that you have on hand, which you can use during battle to heal yourself, and it gives you an opportunity to level up the various different job classes you have. And so again, this is a little bit different than, say, a Dark Souls game where you're constantly building up your single character, choosing what abilities you have. In this game, you'll level up the various different job classes and learn different abilities, and they all kind of have their own different job trees associated with them. And so each one of these abilities that you can unlock might power up your character's affinity for that job class, making them more powerful. It might give you an action ability, so the various combos that you can do with those characters improve. And it also could unlock aspects of different new job classes that are more advanced. So for example, you need to master a job class in a sense and learn a portion of an ability from like the dual wielding dagger user, and then also the fist using monk precursor job class. And once you've unlocked abilities from both of those, you're able to unlock the thief, for example. And so again, you have several different base classes that you can choose from, and then as you progress, you'll unlock more advanced classes, which allow you to have access to different weapon types, abilities, and much more. And also another cool feature is you can have two job classes equipped at once. So you can switch between them with the press of a button to really optimize your playstyle and strategy as you play through the game. You'll also have a few other side characters that come along with you. That was a new enhancement to this game, as the characters have more of a personality and backstory. In the original Final Fantasy game, like you can see here, you would just choose various different job classes, but there's not really any background on the characters besides them being the four warriors of light. But in this game, the characters' backstories are a little bit more fleshed out, and so that was a cool enhancement to the game as well. Now, as you go through and kill various monsters in the dungeons, they all kind of have their own unique patterns and abilities, so you'll need to choose your playstyle effectively and really maximize the weapons that you're using, the dodge ability, breaking enemies, allowing you to kill them off in one hit at that point, understanding their weaknesses, so you could use mage characters and use different spells that are super effective against them, causing critical damage, and much more. So the game gets pretty strategic, in a sense like a turn-based RPG, but again is much more action focused and has that third-person action adventure RPG feel like a Dark Souls game. You'll also encounter various different boss fights, which are much more challenging than a regular monster fight. And so each one of these, again, has their own unique abilities and skill sets and their own unique challenge as well. So you might need to mix and match your existing job classes that you have in order to get past a challenging boss. You'll also get a lot of different items and armor and equipment as you go through the different dungeons, from killing monsters to finding treasure chests hidden throughout the area. And the game has a neat feature where you can just auto-equip the best equipment for your characters, so that's definitely very helpful. But you can also mix and match equipment, and depending on how you do that, creating a set that all goes together can give you a bonus. Unique items might have a specific bonus for a job class type, and so again, you might mix and match equipment accordingly to boost certain aspect of your character versus just going with the best optimal equipment that they auto associate for you. Another neat feature as well is that there's a smithy that you can access at towns where you can dismantle equipment, but then you can also use materials that you find to upgrade equipment to make them more powerful. And so again, as you find different equipment throughout your journey, you'll be able to use that, upgrade it, enhance it further to better suit your playstyle and to fit the character job classes you have in mind. And so again, like I said, I'm about 10 to 15 hours into the game so far, but I'm really enjoying it. I love getting to replay the original parts of the storyline from the first Final Fantasy game. I like the more action-focused, Dark Souls type gameplay of the game, but I also enjoy that it's a little bit more forgiving, which relieves a lot of the frustration that sometimes comes with those games, where even though you die a lot and have to get better with your character and learn their abilities, it's not brutally punishing where you don't make any progress if you do happen to die. You're still going to keep the items you gain, you're still going to keep the experience you've gained over time. So even though it is punishing where you die a lot, it's a lot less frustrating than some Dark Souls-like games. On top of that, I love the ability to mix and match job classes. Even though this is more of a remake of the original Final Fantasy game, there's way more job classes available in the game as well, which I love to see. So you're going to get more advanced job classes like samurais and sages, berserkers, and much more that weren't available in the original Final Fantasy game. So it's cool getting to play as those different job classes as well through the original story, which wasn't possible before. But so far, I'm really enjoying the game. If you love Final Fantasy, if you like action RPGs, I would definitely recommend this game so far. But certainly stay tuned for a full review of the game once we've had more time to play it and beat the game. But at this point, I certainly recommend this game, and I think it's worth checking out. But if you guys like this video, be sure to smash that like button as it really helps out the channel. And if you like videos like this on video games, board games, and everything nerdy, be sure to check out one of our other videos here and subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and turn on those bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.